It's YouTube Wednesday! Okay, I am making a large pumpkin. It is out of couch foam. This is 3-inch couch foam. You can download a pattern online for a sphere. Because the couch foam is so thick, I'm able to cut the pumpkin bevels in it so that each section of the pumpkin has its own curve. When I cut the bevel, I made sure I left a flat edge. I left about a flat of 1 inch. That gave me 2 inches worth of bevel. And that inch flat, I'm able to glue together in order to make my pumpkin. I've always wanted to make pumpkins this way. I've done this a couple times, and it is simple and easy aside from getting the bevel nice and smooth. Now you can sand it with a sander. We just went with a cut technique. This one happened to be a mask, but you can actually don't have to make it a mask. It's easier to just make it a pumpkin. You can see I'm amused by the jiggle and the bounce of the pumpkin. I needed a couple more pieces. I was short. I just used my piece as a pattern. You can see it's just a long football. Very easy to do, simple project. Make sure you, when you use the contact cement, put it on both sides, let it dry, and then fit this in. And this whole shape is done, and eventually I'll make it into a mask. I need to make a leafy base and a stem for this guy too. I'm also going to do this out of upholstery foam. I should have a marker. I don't have a marker, so I'm just going to pretend I drew out a cool leaf shape for the base. I'm cutting from the corners, and each corner will be a leaf. And then I'll cut little spikelets in between them. Upholstery foam is one of my favorite mediums because you can do so much with it, and so many people underestimate it. Found out that the Godzilla costume was made out of upholstery foam when I was a kid, and I haven't been the same since. So I just knocked the corners off real quick, and now I'm going to go in with the scissors and just cut a line like that. Now it looks a lot more like a leaf. Take the corners off, cut that line down the middle, so it looks more leaf-like. Is it perfect? No. But it's the green thing attached to a pumpkin, so people will know it's a leaf. Context is huge. Okay, so this will go up on top of the pumpkin just like that, and a stem that's going to come off of that. I'm going to use the rest of this for the stem. Base of my stem can't be any bigger than the center of the leaves. That'll be my stem shape. Since this is an open cell foam, technically now these are stem cells. Oh. Now I have a two-dimensional stem, meaning it looks good this way, but not this way. Now I have to just cut it. Well, I guess I should mark where I'm going to cut it. Now the stem will taper in both directions. Okay, now here's my kooky stem. Just knocking all the corners off. And that is a stem shape. I could Dremel this with the sanding bit, but I think that's good enough. I'm going to goop it up later. Yeah, stem coming up out of leaves. I'm going to knock these corners off a little better. There we go. Now it looks more round down there. Boom, just like that. So I'm going to figure out where his face is. And I think his face is this. And he is a happy pumpkin. Up here is fine. That is the happy jack-o'-lantern. Do that way first. I knew that this was the top because it's the better held together of the two ends. This end's a little bit loosey-goosey, so this is where I'm going to cut my head hole. Making big pumpkins out of upholstery foam is actually kind of fun. Angle is important. I want to make sure I'm going straight into the pumpkin and not making a bevel cut, unless I'm intentionally making a bevel cut. Look at the pumpkin. I've either overhold or underheaded. Wait, overheaded or underhold? I need to make more hold. Okay. A lot of contact cement in here. Okay, now that's attached. All right, so this project I'm now handing over to you. You're gonna reinforce this guy for me.
Inside circle that we want to reinforce, Alan said to be about 10 inches. So we're going to use this to get our perfect circle. We're going to do the inside of the hoop since that's about the 10 inches. Ta-da! Good enough. And then this one will be for the bottom where your whole head is going to sit. Let's go. We have our circle, our 10-inch circle. We're going to glue it right on. We're going to glue as we go so that we don't glue our circle and then the glue dries before we can get it stuck. So in the gluing of the 10-inch circle on the inside, we actually had some of our seams split a little bit. It's fine, repair, but also this other strip of fabric that we did, this will help keep that from happening. I think my finger's gonna blister. So we're going to mesh the eyes and the mouth. I cut a triangle that is a little bit larger than the eye of the pumpkin.
And since we have 2 triangles, we're gonna cut 2.
Cheating.
Will do. So for the mesh on the pumpkin, we did the sandwich method, a layer of hot glue, the mesh, and then another layer of hot glue on top of that. So the mesh is sandwiched in between the 2 layers of the hot glue, and it'll hold a little bit better.
Boston. This guy is built, but these are not rounded. These look very stark. You're just going to shave the foam. By knocking off each corner, you'll end up being much more naturally rounded. This is going to take about 4 days.
Thank you.
Enjoy.
Fake scissors.
The next step on this guy is just to hit it with some Flex Seal, and that's going to give me a nice paintable surface and seal up this foam. Make sure that you let your foam pumpkin sit for a day or 2 before you spray it with Flex Seal. The solvent in Flex Seal will undo your contact cement in the first 12 hours or so. So make sure that has time to fully cure before you hit it with this, or else it'll come undone. I don't want to soak it, I want to give it a couple light coats. So I'll do this, and I gotta wait 15, 20 minutes, and I'll do it again. does dry pretty fast. I'm gonna give this about 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes. Come back and do another coat. Second coat. Good to me. That's 2 coats. One more coat after 20 minutes. That's the 3rd coat. Next time I touch this sucker, I can paint it. All right, I'm gonna base him in yellow because I have a lot of this yellow, and that's gonna help the orange I put on later pop more. We have so much of this yellow because Teddy went to order 6 cans and ordered 6 cases.
Alan ordered 6 cases. I didn't order anything.
I'm gonna leave the inside of the eye this color, the inside of the mouth. That's kind of the pumpkin color anyway. I will repaint the screen. I don't want these too dark. I'll just go fast and from far away. So this is upholstery foam. Upholstery foam is one of the many, many types of foam that is not eaten by spray paint. Only expanded polystyrene and extruded polystyrene are eaten by spray paint. This type of foam, pool noodle foam, no problem spray painting it. This has to dry, probably 10-15 minutes. All right, we are dry enough to move on. I'm gonna hit this with orange, one of my favorite colors to paint stuff. And I'm still getting that 2 tones of color because of how I did the yellow. I'm still darker in the centers. This has to dry for 5 to 10 minutes. I did this while this was wet. Now I'm going into the realm of blacklight colors. I think we have to take this in the other room where they have a blacklight.
All right, we're gonna clean up these eyes a little bit here. And we happen to be out of carburetor cleaner. Otherwise, that is what I would normally use for this. We're just gonna use 99% alcohol in the airbrush here. Putting some paper towels behind this and holding it there. Okay, now that we've cleaned up the eyes a little bit, we're gonna go back in with some black and we're just gonna make them pop again. This one. And yeah, we're just putting a little bit of that depth back in. Putting a shadow back between these.
So I mean, it's done. Like this is it, man.
Yeah.
Vision is actually pretty good in this. This big pumpkin head is tilting forward. So if I put a pad in the back, then that means I'm going to alter the tilt up. And I think a 2-inch pad is going to be perfect. And I'm just shaping this so it's a little more comfortable on that performer. So for adding this pad in, I don't need this to be super duper permanent. I actually want it to be able to be removed or added onto if they need to. So I'm going to use spray adhesive instead of contact cement. Contact cement would come apart without tearing the foam somewhere. You don't use spray adhesive a lot on costuming because it breaks down in heat. However, this is going to be sandwiched between 2 inches of foam, so it's got a good heat shield on it. And I think it'll hold up fine for this mascot use. In here, there is stuff on both sides. Press in place. I can pretty much immediately check and see if that helped. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! I got it. Go make stuff! Go make stuff! All right, it's time for Patreon shoutouts. I really appreciate everybody. If you want to support what we're doing on the channel, join us on Patreon. A special thanks to Travis Garoon, hope I'm saying that right, Cheryl Fowler, and Bernadette Heath. You guys are awesome. Go make stuff.